That was an attack ad. It's part of a misinformation campaign that Patrick is orchestrating. And this one is targeting candidate Tanya Ramirez. This is the sitting Democratic Party chairman of Hidalgo County trying to feed a journalist misinformation to repost. And that's him doing it again. So I decided to see what I could do to expose this kind of bullshit.
Hello?
Yeah, story.
That's all right.
So what's going on?
Nothing much.
Okay, so you're able to tell the story about Ramirez?
Yeah, I want to know, is that really all you're wanting me to do is post that?
I'm not sure that's somebody who should be county judge.
Okay. And what about Judge Cortez? How do you feel about him?
Cortez is just an arrogant idiot, in my opinion. And now if you go to the county judge's office, you can't go inside. You're outside by the elevator. His arrogance is mind-boggling. He became county judge and he didn't even know what the county judge's office is. That's how smart he is.
I hear what you're saying, man. What about the third candidate, Norma?
What about her?
Do you think she's a good fit?
Well, she has the background. She has a business person. She's created jobs. She has a temperament, she's female. She's competent.
Yeah.
Going back to Cortez, how incompetent do you have to be? Because this guy was so incompetent.
Dang. I mean, what else is there?
At this point, it's pretty obvious which way this guy's leaning. And as a journalist, it's pretty easy to pick up when someone's bullshitting. So I decided to try to feed him something that I just made up and to test him and just to see how he'd respond. And here that is.
I've also heard that this is just a rumor from some attorney that her husband's not the father of her baby or something along those lines. And yeah.
She's a crackhead, from what I heard.
Really?
That's what I heard. All right, man. I just wanted to call you back.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time, man.
For the sake of this county, we can't let these people live.
I agree, totally.
I think Cortez belongs to the retirement home.
So I'll get started with question one. The role of the county versus the party in administering elections. Well, first of all, it's important for you to know elections, right? In a primary, the election day belongs to the parties themselves. So you've got your two major parties running, the Democrats and the Republicans, and they are in charge of election day. The county is in charge of the 2 weeks of early voting, and you're talking cost and everything. So back to the parties on election day. They can either run election day themselves, or they can contract out to their county to administer this election day for them. And in that case, it would be a collaboration.
So basically, in a nutshell, the first 2 weeks during early voting, the county is in charge. On election day, the party itself is in charge.
In charge of early voting, I told you the county is in charge of early voting, so I become the early voting clerk, it's called. And I already told you number 3. So during early vote, how does the county choose election judges or the ballot board? Okay. Every 2 years, the parties send us lists of workers, judges, or clerks that we work off. So we have a list of workers, and so during early vote, the county is in charge. So we then select workers and all that after the commissioner's court has selected the polling location. But then, of course, on election day, the parties themselves choose the polling location, they choose the judges, and they obtain the workers.
So traditionally, and the way it should be done, is the county selecting the people working the election during early voting, and on election day, the party gets to choose those people. Despite this well known and established rule, Patrick still has his hand in choosing election workers right now during early voting.
They are in charge of choosing their own judges and their clerks.
So on election day, the party chairman gets to choose the judges and election officials.
And that would be like the party chairman. That would
The party chair.
The man in charge of selecting these officials is on record calling one of the candidates a crackhead and telling the other one that he should be in a retirement home. How can this chairman be objective in any way?
So when are the mail-in ballots actually counted? Okay, all of the mail ballots, and there's different layers of that. And, I don't have time to go into the different layers of the accepting of the ballots, but they're not actually counted until the polls close on election day.
So the mail-in ballots aren't counted until polls close on election day. But remember, the county is in charge of only early voting, and the party is in control on election day. So the people that Patrick put in these positions are the only ones who are going to be able to count these votes.
is the next question. Who's actually the people that are counting them?
Okay, so it depends on the election. So right now we're talking about the primary, and this will be different for the general, for example. But for the primary, the parties are responsible. So they actually submit the names of the individuals who will be working their ballot board, their signature verification committee, and in the end, the central counting station, who are the individuals that actually finish scanning and now start tallying and totaling numbers up until then. So in a primary, the parties are responsible. Each party has to give us the names of those individuals who will have this role.
So the party is responsible for counting the votes, and the leader of that party has come out against 2 of the candidates. And we're supposed to expect that this is a fair election?
Okay. What about number 9?
What if there aren't enough spots to fill in the necessary positions on election day? And that's what they're contending with. Because like I said, we're responsible for early vote. If they do not do it, there has to be a judge, an alternate judge, and at least one clerk. So that's a minimum of 3 people at a poll location. So if they don't have 3 people, then who's going to man that poll location? That poll location would have to close.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, okay.
So on election day, with the Hidalgo County Democratic Party in control, they have to meet certain requirements for a polling place to be working. if they don't have those 3 personnel people, that polling place is shut down. That gives Patrick a lot of power to manipulate which polling stations will be open that day.
Are there any official restrictions or bylaws that kind of make sure that election judges don't work for campaigns that are actually from the Hidalgo County Elections Department? Like,
There are laws, like for example, if you are a campaign manager, you cannot be a worker. If you are a campaign treasurer, you cannot be a worker.
Another rule is if you're an election official, you cannot be doing any electioneering or trying to change minds. On February 7th, I received the following audio from one of my sources. They were in a conversation with Patrick. Patrick was trying to hire them to be an election official. In the clip, towards the end, you'll hear Patrick saying that you should work from an area that you're well known because it'll be easier to change people's minds. It will be easier to change the way someone votes.
Well, you're from Hidalgo. Why don't you work in Hidalgo? Why don't you work in Hidalgo?
I don't know. You tell her. I don't know.
No, it's best for her to work in Hidalgo where she knows people. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
That's good. If you work in Hidalgo, that's he's saying. Like if you work in Hidalgo, it's better for you to work in Hidalgo because you can, like, see if everybody else.
In Hidalgo, it's easier for you to tell people to have them vote. In Donna, you don't know the people. So the only people that you can get to change their mind is people that you don't. Everybody who don't know them. If you go to Donna, they're not going to listen to you.
Again, he said it will be easier to change their minds.
Because we just administer the election. We don't politically endorse anybody or anything.
no, and I understand your position. I can appreciate it. My concern is, well, for the county judges race, I know that Norma, she appointed the chair, and that's why I'm wondering, like, can that chair, can Patrick, the chairman, come out and endorse Norma, or is that?
Like I said, there's no statute, so I wouldn't be able to respond to that.
While there isn't a statute preventing you from coming out and endorsing Norma, Patrick, I'm pretty sure there are laws that you're breaking, election laws, serious ones. And I think it's time for you to resign. Judge Cortez, Mrs. Tanya Ramirez, I think it's time for you all to call on the Texas Democratic Party and have them intervene, because this is not going to be a fair election. And also, Patrick, I'm not one of these bullshit anonymous accounts that will just post any misinformation that you try to feed me because you're too afraid to post it yourself. So I hope that's the last time you try to do that. Patrick, resign by Monday, man. It's for your own good. If you don't, I'll keep on digging, homie. My name is Joshua Muddy Skull, and I'm an independent journalist with Nest News. I don't hide my identity by some anonymous account, because when you do that, you lose accountability. And without accountability, you have no credibility. I encourage all of you to stop paying attention to those fucking lame anonymous accounts, because it's just rumors and hearsay. If someone can't put their face by what they say or sign their name to it, I mean, how much weight do their words really hold?